Championship Tuesday morning in the city of Boston as banner number 18 going up here June 18th. Welcome into SimWorld today. I am Marsh, joined by B-Ron on this Tuesday. Good morning, B-Ron.
Hey, Marsh. Good morning, man. It's good to be here with you as always for another show. You mentioned the Celtics being champions. I'm not happy about it, but you know what? It's not about me this morning. It's about them, unfortunately. So,
No, it
hey.
is not. No, 16 years to the day of their championship in 2008, the Boston Celtics have another SWBA crown, their 18th most in SWBA history. In a game and a series, B-Ron, that we talked about yesterday morning was pretty much a foregone conclusion by the time this thing rolled around. Boston was the better team. Boston was the deeper team. Boston was the best team in the SWBA all season long. They won 80 games, playoffs included. They were dominant. They used a fantastic close to the first half to get back into, or rather pull away from this one. This is what we maybe not what we expected, but by the time this thing got to 3-0, and after the early indications of this series, this is what we expected. The Boston Celtics are just a better team than the Dallas Mavericks, and it showed last night, and it showed all series.
Yeah, it really did. And in some weird way, Marsh, I don't know if it had to do with like presentation of the finals or not, but it didn't feel like the SBBA finals was here, if that makes sense. Because this really wasn't it wasn't a competitive series for most of it. For majority of it, I feel like sure the Mavs won a game here and there, but most of the games in the finals were blowouts. And that's a little disappointing, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. No, it was. Look, you talk about the product on the court was not good. I mean, it just anytime Dallas was close in this game, the series, it was kind of like, well, they need another basket because if they don't, they're going to be falling back behind, and that's really the way it worked all series. I also think that, let's just say, the presentation of the SWBA finals was leaving some for desired. Look, it just doesn't. I still think you got to go back to the days of the giant Larry O'Brien trophy in the middle of the court.
On the court,
That's finals, baby. But of course they don't have that. But the product itself is what did not scream finals.
Right.
If Minnesota makes it, does it? Probably not. I think Minnesota runs into the same challenges that Dallas had. Truthfully, the only team that had a chance to make this a competitive series would have been the Denver Nuggets. Yeah, and they had it's not like we got robbed of it. They had a 20-point lead in Game 7, but that's not who we were talking about. Boston now is set up. I mean, look, they've got guys under contract. Obviously, Tatum, Brown. We could stop the arguments about who's the real star. I think it's both of them. Do we need to trade one of them to make this a championship team? No, we don't. Which is often the case with star teams. It's about the role players. And adding Porzingis gave them size and shooting. Adding Drew Holiday gave them defense in the backcourt that, sure, Marcus Smart had. But Marcus Smart doesn't play the way Drew Holiday does. Drew Holiday is a selfless player. Not to say Marcus Smart isn't. Marcus Smart often felt like, hey, look, my turn to take over. Drew Holiday never feels like that. So this team is really well set up for the future, for at least the next 2 to 3 seasons, to get right back to the stage, which we say every year, mind you. And we haven't had a repeat champion in 6 years, so I don't think let's not jump to how many in a row can they win. But they were just a better team, and that proved it last night and all series long.
So, let's not jump the gun with that kind of talk. I agree with you, but it is definitely a story to keep in the back of our minds as we go through the off-season process and everything else leading up to next season, because a lot of things can change. But I think one of the nice things is that, like you said, the team is set up to run it back and do it again. And in my opinion, that makes it a little bit easier sometimes to repeat when you don't have a lot of change going on. Everything is already there in place for you. You know what you have to do. You don't have to change too much of anything. You add in, some role players might change here and there, but it won't be too many of them for it to really make a difference in the grand scheme of the big picture of our goal is to repeat, and this is how we're going to do it the same way we did it last season.
Yeah, now where it's going to get interesting for them is they They are already $2.9 million above the second apron. That's starting for next season. They still have to figure out what they're going to do with Derek White. He's a free agent this summer as we just kind of look at this group. But under contract through the 25-26 season is Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Porzingis, and that obviously gives them space. But as it sits coming into the 24-25 season, Derek White under contract, Al Horford in the final year. They are like I said, 2.9 million over. We're gonna see what the second apron does because of its massive restrictions that it imposes on teams. The good thing for them is that they're five guys that are under contract for the next at least season are 28, 26, 34, 29, and 30. It's not a team like Phoenix where you've got, a 36-year-old Kevin Durant. It's not a team like the
Yeah.
Lakers where you've got a 38-year-old, 39-year-old LeBron James. You got a young team. And so long as that ownership group is comfortable paying what's going to be a massive tax bill and what's going to come with a lot of restrictions on what they can offer, this team, the only way I don't see this team continue to be competitive is because is just purely based off of health. But the fact of the matter is, I thought Jaylen Brown was fantastic in this series. He was absolutely incredible. He answered the bell every single time. He has made a really incredible leap from where he was 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, a season ago. They've got what you want for a championship. They've got two dominant wings. They've got guys in the backcourt who are hounding on the defensive end and can get their own if when called upon. And then they've got a big man who, when healthy, is very dynamic. This
Yeah.
was a great basketball team, man, and I don't think I'm all that surprised they won, and I don't think we as a whole should be all that surprised that they won because
No.
their role guys were just simply that good.
Yeah, and
All right,
we've been talking about all season long, Marsh. We have, so continue.
yes,
Yeah.
and now we can stop being thinking about it. Let's move along. We're Tuesday, Wednesday night here in SimWorld Prep. We've got some championship level action coming up ourselves. Yacht Club and Originators kick things off tonight at 8 p.m. Let's start there. The OGs have had a Cooper Flag fourth quarter dominance. That's where this team has been winning games. Is not where they've dominated teams from end to end, but rather where they've been able to be extremely dominant with Cooper Flag in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, the Yacht Club enters this one with the Defensive Player of the Year inside and Josiah Cook. Your thoughts as we enter this one, and where do you think it's expected to go?
So this one, it is intriguing to me, but it's not the more intriguing matchup. But I do think that this is, in some ways, this is very much about Cooper Flag and Josiah Cook going against each other because we know Cook is the Defensive Player of the Year, and he's going up against a kid in Cooper Flag who has seemingly done everything he's wanted to do in the last 8 minutes of a game, 60 minutes of a game, if you will, between the third and fourth quarters of the run to one. So if Josiah Cook can, I don't want to say stop Cooper Flag because that's something that's I feel like not impossible to do. But if you can slow him down and limit his impact on the game, I feel like they'll have a chance in this one to win. But if they don't do that, if Josiah Cook struggles against Flag, then it's gonna be open season for them, and I feel like the ship's gonna sink come to the end of tonight.
I think that where I'd focus in on is the secondary players because we know, like you said, Cooper Flag, you're not really going to slow down. I think you say Josiah Cook, give it hell and see what the heck happens. And we're not going to sell out though to stop Cooper Flag. Where I'm going to sell out is I don't want Christ Coates to get rolling. I don't want Tycadrian Walker to be as active on the offensive glass as he was in some of these first 3-round games. I don't want Jay Laster, who granted has been getting a lot less minutes, to be at all engaged in the offense. I want every other guy on this roster to be putting up nothing. Because if Cooper Flag's going to go off, Cooper Flag's going to go off. And I've got the best singular defender on him that I can possibly find in SimWorld Prep. I'm going to see what Josiah Cook can do. But if I want to win this game, I don't want the rest of those guys to be in a rhythm because that's what kept these teams That's what kept originators in these games. It's not because Cooper Flag was dominant for the first 3 quarters and the game was close.
Right.
All the first 3 games, Cooper Flag has been pretty not mediocre, but pretty pedestrian in his involvement and numbers through the first 3.5 quarters. Then he turns it on in the fourth because the game's still close. If I'm Yacht Club, shut down every other escape valve that he has and say, Cooper Flag, you do have to keep this team in it. You do have to score 45 points to win a basketball game. I am not going to let these other guys that have been good enough to keep you afloat suddenly continue that trend because they have not been a
Yeah,
consistent
continue to do
basketball
it
team
because that's kind
secondarily.
of because that's kind of been the narrative around them for the entire season. Pretty much, we've seen spurts of the other guys stepping in and playing better, but it's only been for a couple of games here and there, and it's been right back to the usual. But you know, they've done enough to prove that as long as they have Cooper Flag on the team, that's enough.
Yep. Let's switch it over to the second one, Rocky Mountain in Europe. Rocky Mountain brings a high-octane offense that survived through the first 3 games. Europe brings a dominant interior team. Your thoughts on where this thing is going to go?
Yeah, so this is the one that I'm the most interested in for that reason, Marsh. We've talked about all season about Rocky Mountain Monsters and how explosive their offense can be, but their defense has been the problem. And on the flip side of that, similar to Europe, they have a very fundamental, easy way of playing the game almost. And when you have two bigs like Andrei Ivanov and Ivan Suslov in there as well, that also just helps you. It gives you matchup problems against other teams who don't have those same caliber of players, especially kids who can do what they do on the floor too. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one goes between how Rocky Mountain has to defend both Suslov and Ivanov, and if their offense can do what they normally do. Because I don't think Justin Bell and this is going to have an easy time getting to the rack for easy buckets. They're going to have to be more of an outside shooting team in this one, and that could be a problem if they don't get going. But if they do, if they can hang around in the game long enough, then I mean, could be a good finish in that one. I'm excited to be on the call for that one when we get to that one.
Yeah, I said this on my podcast yesterday. I think that the size inside for Europe is going to be the difference maker, like you said. I don't think that's a shocking take, but I don't see Rocky Mountain with a great answer, right? DeQuan
Yeah,
McDougal, Schindler. I don't love those guys going up because look, that's you can sit here and argue back and forth about wow, those guys are this, that, and the other. Those guys aren't any better than the 3 teams that SimWorld Europe went up against to get here in the first place. And
hmm
if Europe continues to do what they've done, which is attack inside and let their bigs just be aggressive, I, I don't see Rocky Mountain having a great answer outside of they just play great offense. Now,
and
the only way that happens is if Europe slows down, uh, or maybe is unable to slow down the Rocky Mountain offense. I think that they've got a better chance than the others, and I just like the consistency and the lack of variance in offensive production for Europe. When it comes to being productive inside, as opposed to Rocky Mountain, where their offense has been awesome, but it's come and go a little too often for me to feel real comfortable with them.
yeah, and here's the other thing about SimWorld Europe too. We've talked for the last couple of seasons about them in terms of being this good team at times. They looked really good in various spots when they had Henrik Vekic there, for the last 2 seasons. And then, they started off really well. I think this season here,
Hmm.
and then they kind of fell off to where they looked like last season SimWorld South America. But they got it together, and for all of the Mr. International hate here that's in my body this morning for them. There's no denying that this is a very competitive, very fundamentally sound basketball team, and that is huge. I think this time of year.
It sure is. So those coming up Tuesday night, we've got Yacht Club and Originators, and then Wednesday night we've got the SimWorld Europe and Rocky Mountain Monsters matchup coming your way. All of that, of course, only right here on SimWorld TV, the exclusive home of SimWorld sports, and SimWorld prep. That is our show. We've got no wrap up to get to because we don't got no games from last night. We've got a game coming up tonight that we will recap in full tomorrow. But B-Ron, thank you for joining us. Thank you all for tuning in here on SimWorld today on SimWorld TV, the only place you can see the game, be the game.
This has been a presentation of SimWorld